Welcome back, guys. I am filming once again because I'm outdoors trying to collect my thoughts, and today there's no way to slice it in a good way. Today was just absolutely brutal, and the thing is, the brutality may not be over because Asia is waking up, and we'll see how Asia reacts. But if I'm right, I think they're going to react like how Wall Street reacted today, and there may be even more sell-offs. So I'm going to tell you guys where I think Bitcoin's heading and give you some general thoughts about what happened today. Today happened exactly like I described in my Sunday walk video, right? Those of you guys that watch my Sunday walk video, I told you guys that I thought Wall Street was going to open up red and go deep into red, and we'll probably see more sell-offs of Bitcoin. This morning, surprisingly, we actually saw Bitcoin went up a little bit, but sure enough, after Wall Street opened, the sell-off began. And it was a broad sell-off. It wasn't just Bitcoin. Tech sector got absolutely decimated. Dow, S&P, NASDAQ, everything got decimated. Okay, today, everything sold off. Tesla went down 15%. Coinbase, MicroStrategy, down 15, 17%. Nvidia down, I don't know how much, 5, 6, 7%. Robinhood down 18%. I mean, literally everything went down today, and it's kind of what I expected. This is all due to two reasons. One, I covered in my Sunday walk video a lot of fears about what's happening in China right now. China, for the first time in 17 months, is seeing deflation. Their inflation numbers are in the negative, so a lot of people are very worried. You know, in terms of the economy, it's just China, no, it's US and China, and if China's struggling, right, it gets people worried. And the US, we're obviously not that bad, but people are afraid we might get that bad because of all the tariff stuff. I watched a couple interviews. I think they were conducted yesterday or today. Basically, reporters asking Trump if he feels like there will be, or there's a possibility of recession this year. He answered in a way that wasn't very, didn't have a lot of confidence. For the recession question, he said, well, I don't want to make any predictions. You know, you never know what may happen, so I don't want to give out any predictions, right? What I'm doing is going to make America great. There's many changes, so we'll have to see, right? Yeah, there are a lot of big changes, but it would have been nice if he came out and said, yeah, no chance of recession. I will make sure it doesn't happen. He didn't even say that. Normally, he just says what people want to hear, right? Because he's so confident about his moves. But this time around, he did not say that. He didn't say there would be no chance of recession. And then also, another article I read today about Trump, basically he said that ignore the short-term volatility, ignore the stock market crash, because there's big changes that are being made right now that will make America strong. But short-term, there may be disruptions, aka meaning stock market may fall. And that's exactly what we're seeing. So Bitcoin at the time of this recording right now is right around $77,000. We started a day yesterday. My Sunday walk video, Bitcoin's about 81. This morning we were at 83, and now we're at 77. And we're not even bouncing. You know, I was hoping that after Wall Street closed with all the sell-offs concluded at the market bell, that we could get like a little bit of a bounce. Not only do we not get a bounce, we're selling off more because I think Asia has opened up, and Asia is going to panic sell probably too. So Bitcoin obviously didn't do well, and the alts are getting absolutely destroyed. XRP is below $2. Sui's below $2. Solana is getting dangerously close to being under 100. And forget about the others. AVAX, Chainlink, you name it, Ondo, they all got slaughtered. Meme coins, don't even look at meme coins. I was looking at meme coins. Meme coins have fallen to like March, April 2024 levels. Memes have dropped anywhere from 85 to 95% since January. So some of the big ones people were talking about before, like, I don't know, like Brett or Mog or whatever, they have all fallen to like not even November levels, like early 2024 levels and beyond. Pepe, Bonk, Whiff, these guys are all struggling, right? So meme coin holders, the weakest hands, they're not going to be strong holders, so they are dumping everything. But as for alts in general, everything is being sold off. There's so much panic, so much fear in the markets right now. And like I've been saying, short term, there's nothing. Now that we got like the Bitcoin reserve, but it wasn't the greatest news. We had the White House summit, wasn't the greatest news. Both quite disappointing if you ask me. We don't have really anything else. Like, unless suddenly something huge gets announced, short term, I don't think we're going to see anything. Maybe if peace talks happen, if Ukraine and Russia comes to terms and ends the war, something like that, maybe something big like that can help bring up the market. But right now, just so much worry about tariffs, worry about the US falling into recession, worry about China and Japan and others really struggling and facing deflation, right? What about the situation last year when with the yen, carry trade situation, right, where they had to raise rates? Are they going to do more of that? Is China forced to do that? There are just a lot of worries right now. So short term, just nothing I could think of that's great. So looking at the charts, Bitcoin has a resistance right around 73.8, 73.9. It was a resistance that we formed back all the way in March of 2024 when we first shot up to it, and then we kind of trended down the whole year, and then we hit it a couple times in November before we shot up to the 90s. We just skipped over the 80s and went up to the 90s, right? So seeing where Bitcoin is right now, 77,000, I don't know, by the time this video gets released, I don't know what it's going to be at. I'm assuming if Asia continues to sell off, we may be hitting that 73.8 next. Okay, that will be a pretty good support where we could bounce off of, because that was our high of 2024. And if you're from a TA perspective, you're looking at like how oversold things are. Every single time frame is oversold, including the daily now. And if we do drop down to 73.8, the daily is extremely oversold. So I do think that could be a hard resistance where we could bounce off of or just stay there for a little bit. But if we can't and we go below, then we're looking at the 60s again. And that is something that I don't want to see. I don't want to see 60s ever again. But the reality of the situation is, right now, with all the sell-offs from Wall Street due to the ETF holdings, these fund managers are panicking. They're selling off all their Bitcoin ETFs, which in turn is causing these big fund companies to sell off their Bitcoin, and Asia and everyone else in between really panicking. Can't rule it out. Can't rule out that we can't go lower. But I'm really hoping, I'm wrong about that. I'm really hoping that we can find a bottom point like that 73.8 and then bounce off of that or hold at least above it, and that'll be fine. Because if we go lower, it's just going to be so depressing. That's really the bottom line. Like I've been saying, I'm still Bitcoin believer, a long-term holder, and I will hold Bitcoin forever, right? And I realize a lot of you guys are getting discouraged because you haven't been through these cycles. And when we go through these periods, especially when it's just like all macro driven, it's not even internally. It's not like we had a black swan event. It's not like we had a big exchange hack or a big exchange failure or some kind of other big thing in the space happen. No, it's all positive. All the things that are happening in space are positive, but this is completely macro driven and there's really nothing to do about it. But if you think about it, despite all the selling and all the panic, Bitcoin is still above its 2024 high, right? And despite everything, we still have a lot of great things happening. All the fundamental things that I've been talking about, all the changes happening in the US, all the rule changes, the landscape, everything is turning for the better. We do have a Bitcoin reserve. Many states are adopting Bitcoin. Banks and financial institutions around the world are adopting Bitcoin. So these things have not changed. Fundamentally, things are awesome. Okay. And long-term holders like me and then others and miners and so forth will continue to buy and hold Bitcoin. And especially the new companies like MicroStrategy and Mara now and Metaplanet and many others that continue to raise debt to buy more Bitcoin, they will continue to do so forever. So bottom line is right now, yes, it sucks. Near term, it sucks, and it could probably suck more. I'd say maybe like even, 1 to 3 months out could be bad, could be brutal. We could drop to a point and then we stay there for months without movement, right? But will we recover? Yes, because we always do. And again, it's nothing internal that's bad. Nothing internally is causing what's happening. It's on a macro scale. And the macro scale, as soon as the macro scale improves, we're going to see a huge reversal, a huge recovery, a huge bounce, unlike one we haven't seen possibly before, ever, because we've never seen a drop this much from the top. And our recovery bounce upwards can be something that we've never seen before too. It's just we need a macro conditions to get better. Maybe Trump backs off, because I'm hearing a lot of things about exceptions now for Canada and Mexico and possibly China. Maybe Trump backs off a lot of what he's trying to do with tariffs. Remember, there's more reciprocal tariffs coming April 4th. So he may back off of it completely or back off a lot of things he's doing. And a lot of the stuff that's happening with Doge, which I think all of us agree, we want the irresponsible spending from the government to stop, and we want to increase efficiencies and decrease or cut out the dead weight. But the way it's been being done now is causing more disruptions than good. It's causing unemployment numbers to skyrocket. It's causing a lot of hysteria, a lot of hate towards Elon himself, and causing a whole bunch of people to sell off their Tesla and their stock and so forth. And Elon today, I think today or yesterday, just said, hey, U.S. should pull out of NATO. Some may agree with that. I think a lot of people do not like that. And, this kind of talk and distraction on top of all the tariff distractions is definitely not helping things. So, yeah. I would say the best thing you could do right now, okay, is obviously try not to panic, but also have cash ready, okay? I've been telling you guys, even on our way up, always have about 20, 25, 30% in cash. More important than ever to have that cash, because if we continue to fall lower, at some point we're going to bounce, right? You want to be able to buy the dip or DCA at these low prices. okay? Because we know things are going to recover. Dips are still gifts, yes, but you got to have that cash. You got to have that dry powder. So more important than ever to make sure you have that so that you're able to take advantage. If you can't, you're all in, you're locked in, you're 100% in, well, it is what it is, but try not to panic. Know that things will get better. Fundamentally, Bitcoin is as strong as ever. And who knows, maybe something, a catalyst, something big comes out. Like last week, we saw some Trump tweets, skyrocketed things, right? We heard about the White House summit, skyrocketed things. We heard about Bitcoiners there, skyrocketed things. Maybe Trump does more with Bitcoin this week or crypto this week in the followings. And maybe something big, like maybe the Ukraine-Russia war comes to a halt. Maybe the tariff situation gets better. You don't want to give up hope. Things can change. We are so oversold. When we do turn around for good, when the macro conditions improve, it will be one of the greatest recoveries we have ever seen, if not the greatest. So keep that in mind. All right. So stay strong, my friends. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I'm not sure if I'm going to be streaming tomorrow morning. If I'm feeling up for it, I definitely will. If I can't, I'll continue to do these videos. I think you guys are enjoying them. Short and to the point. And you know what? Stay strong. Stay strong, my friends. All right. That's it. Bye-bye.